We've worked with multi-step equations. Multi-step inequalities are going to be almost exactly the same thing. For example, a 4x plus a 1 is greater than 1. If this were just a regular equation with an equal sign instead of a greater than sign, it wouldn't matter because we'd solve it the same way. The first thing we get rid of is the positive 1 by doing what? Yes. We will subtract the 1. 4x is greater than 0. Divide both sides by 4, and x is greater than 0. Now the graph, there's my 0. It's just a regular greater than. Do I put a circle or do I put a point? A circle. And I shade which way? To the right. If it's just a regular inequality without the equals underneath, then it's a circle. Because if you plug in your 0. 4x times 0 is what? 0. Is 0 greater than 0? No. Therefore, you can't use the 0. The 0 is your reference point. So, give me a value that would be shaded. How about 2? 4 times 2 is 8. Is it greater than 0? That works. Just like anything else that would be shaded would. Okay. Let's try another. 5x minus 3 less than or equal to 7. First thing is to, add 3 to both sides. 5x is now less than or equal to 10. Divide both sides by a 5. And x is less than or equal to 2. Let's graph it. Here's my 2. Because it's a less than or equal to 2, Alex, I'll put a point, and we'll shade which way? Left. Arrow, variable first, arrow to the left. All of these values are less than 2. Let's check it. Let's use the 0 since we shaded the 0. 5 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 3, negative 3. Is negative 3 less than or equal to 7? Okay. Can we use the 2? Can we use the 2? 10 minus 3 is 7. Is 7 less than or equal to 7? It's equal. So yes, the point tells us we can use it. Okay. One thing you'll need to be aware of is a situation like this. X divided by a negative 2 plus 6 is less than a negative 14. Let's, first things first, let's do what to both sides? Subtract 6. So if I have an x over a negative 2, I'm already at a negative 14. If I subtract 6 more, negative 20. Now, x is being divided by a negative 2. The opposite of dividing by negative 2, multiply by negative 2. So that is times a negative 2. What happens to our sign? We flip it because we're dividing by the negative or multiplying by the negative. We flip it. Negative 20 times a negative 2. Positive 40. Yes. Okay. We graph. 0, 40. Force field, Y. It's just a regular. Shade then to the right. Double check. Let's pick something close to 40 that's divisible by 2. Yeah. Let's use something that's shaded. How about 42? 42 divided by a negative 2 is a negative 21. Negative 21 plus 6 is a negative 15. Is negative 15 less than negative 14? Yes, it is. So you will come across situations where you'll have to either multiply or divide by a negative, and that's when you flip the sign. Okay? So you can't lose track because you're going to be doing all this other stuff. You're going to be adding to both sides, subtracting to both sides. Just have to be aware. Okay? Give you one to try. I see where my variable is for my second step. My first step is to get rid of this positive 6 by doing what? Subtract 6. Y divided by 5 is less than 4. The opposite of dividing by 5? Multiply by 5, and we get 20. Here's my 20. Force field. Shade to the left. Let's test it with the 0, because the 0 is shaded. What is 0 divided by 5? 0. 6 plus 0 is 6. 6 less than 10? 6 less than 10? Yeah, and it works. Okay. Any questions? Any more? Sure. Add 6 to both sides. And when I add 6 to a negative 5, I get a, when I add 6 to a negative 5, I get a 1. Now, because I'm divided by a negative, the opposite is to multiply by a negative. So when I do that, my sign switches. What is a negative 4 times a positive 1? Here's my negative 4. Force field or a point. And to the left. Yes, sir.
I still had look, like I had -1, then I still got -4, and I still didn't pop.
Not if you had negative 1. Something happened. Okay? Just be careful. You got lucky is what happened. Okay? You got lucky. If we test it, something over here that's shaded that would be divisible by a negative 4. How about negative 8? If I use a negative 8, negative 8 divided by a negative 4 is a positive 2. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Is negative 4 still greater than negative 5? Yeah, it's just that much closer to 0. Okay. Let's go with page 151. (14 through 16). (18 and 19. Obviously, in graph, if you want to redo, yeah, hold on. (156) numbers 17 to 20. And graph. Out of 16 for today, 0, 1 wrong are A's, 2 wrong is a B, 3 and 4 wrong are C's, 5 wrong is a D. You have social studies, yep. Social studies is in like 2 minutes.
Social studies.
And then you'll have Spanish.